So you've cracked open the box for Space Empires 4X. You see all those counters and you're thinking, where do I even begin? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise and give you a clear, winning formula.
Look, this isn't a game you're going to win with a few lucky dice rolls. Not at all. It's a deep, strategic test of your foresight and planning. So today, let's break down the actual blueprint for dominating the galaxy.
To get there, you've got to master all 4 X's of a 4X game. Being really good at just exploring or just fighting, well, that's not going to cut it. Real victory comes from balancing all 4: exploration, expansion, exploitation, and of course, extermination.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the basics of that 4X challenge, then we'll dive deep into the 3 pillars of any winning empire: building a rock-solid economy, getting that tech advantage, and mastering space combat. And then we'll tie it all together to map out your path to victory.
Okay, first things first, and this is absolutely crucial: your economy. Think of it as the engine for your entire empire. Every single ship, every new technology, it's all powered by your economic strength. So, how do you get that fleet that can just steamroll anyone who gets in your way? Well, the answer is actually a pretty simple repeating cycle, and getting this cycle going is your first, most important step. It all comes down to a self-reinforcing loop. You send out colony ships, you claim new worlds. Then, you build shipyards on those colonies to turn their resources into real production power. Then you use those shipyards to build more ships, including more colony ships, and the whole cycle starts all over again. You have to keep this engine running at all times.
But here's a huge early game mistake you've got to avoid. It feels safe to build all your starting shipyards right there at your home world, right? Don't do it. It starves your frontiers of reinforcements and just slows your expansion to a crawl.
The smart move, the pro move, is to build those shipyards out on your new colonies. This lets you build ships and reinforce your borders right where the action is. And as you grow, you have to be investing in your shipyard tech. Better shipyards don't just let you build more ships, they let you build the bigger, badder classes of ships. That's how you become an industrial powerhouse.
Okay, so you have a massive economy humming along. That's great, but that alone won't win you the war. Honestly, just pumping out fleets of obsolete, garbage ships is a recipe for disaster. Technology, that's what gives you the edge. It's what turns sheer numbers into a truly lethal force.
You need to think about your tech path strategically. So super early, maybe even turn 1, you want to research ship size. That unlocks bigger holes, like cruisers. Then you start pouring resources into attack and defense to make those new ships hit hard. But here's the real pro move. Do not neglect tactics. Tactics is the tech that lets you shoot first, and that is a massive advantage.
And this right here is why tactics can be an absolute game changer. Imagine you spent a fortune upgrading your weapons. You fly into an asteroid field, and boom! Suddenly that advantage is just gone. Everyone's attack level is 0. Same thing happens with your shields in a nebula. The battlefield itself can completely level the playing field.
And this is where experienced players just clean up. When all that expensive attack and defense tech gets neutralized, what's left? Tactics. The player with the higher tactics rating shoots first. It's that simple. And getting that first shot can be the difference between a crushing victory and getting totally wiped off the map.
All right, you've got the economy, you've got the tech, but how do you actually translate all that potential into an unstoppable military force? It's time to talk about that final X, extermination.
Oh man, we have all been there. You spend half the game building your 2 biggest, baddest battleships. You send them into enemy space expecting this glorious victory, and then you just watch in horror as they get shredded by a swarm of dinky little ships. The painful lesson here is all about fleet composition.
Your huge capital ships, they have incredible firepower, for sure, but they are surprisingly vulnerable. Without a screen of smaller ships like destroyers to soak up hits and basically act as bodyguards, they can get totally overwhelmed by sheer numbers. So the big takeaway here is to think like a real admiral. You never send only battleships into a fight. You need what's called a combined arms force. Your capital ships, yeah, they're the heavy hitters, but they absolutely need a screen of destroyers to protect them. A balanced fleet is a tough-to-kill fleet. Okay, let's bring all this together. It's time to reveal the core philosophy, the big idea behind a winning strategy in Space Empires 4X.
So after all that, what is it? What's the single best strategy? Is there some magic ship or a secret tech that guarantees a win? The answer is no.
The real secret is understanding that you're not just building ships, you're building an integrated system.
Here's what you really need to remember. See your empire as an engine. Your strong, expanding economy funds better technology. That superior technology creates a dominant military. And that military, in turn, allows you to protect and expand your economy. Each part feeds the others in a beautiful, brutal cycle of victory.
So there you have it. That's the strategic framework. These core principles, economy, tech, and military balance, are your guide. The specific ships you build or the text you research, that's going to change every single game, but the engine stays the same. Now, go build your empire.